Right.
And we are live. Oh my God. Rivka, do you want to wait for other people or just get started? People will join in as and when they join in.
Absolutely, whatever you want.
Yes. So, uh, welcome. If you're whether you're joining in now or listening to this as a recorded conversation on our podcast, you are listening to Empowered Women series, and today we have with us a cybersecurity expert who is going to first scare us and then protect
Aren't
us.
you?
Yeah, and she usually does that. So we have Rivka with us, and embarrassingly enough, I have never learned to pronounce Rivka's last name,
Tadjer.
Tadjer.
Hmm.
Okay, yeah. I don't think I'd ever had to use it. For you, for
Well,
me,
I'm
you.
usually the only Rivka in the room, so that's okay.
Yes, yeah, yeah,
That's fine.
yeah, yeah. That's. I guess it works for you and me both. That we.
Exactly.
Yeah, we have unique first names and difficult last names. So
There you go.
I am very excited to have you. I wanted to do
Thank
this
you.
since a long time, Rivka, because we have had this conversation privately, you and I, about how scary world of the cyber world is.
Hmm.
And actually, we are not scared enough and we are not protected enough. And that's why, finally, I have you here. I have you here, and I cannot wait to ask you my lots and lots of questions. Do you have
Well, I'm
anything to
honored to be
say?
here, so thank you.
And
Information
with
is not good unless people know it, right?
information is power. Don't give it to others. Keep it with yourself. Yeah. Uh, Rivka, do you want to start with first tell us about you and the work that you do?
Sure. So I am a cybersecurity consultant and analyst, and I started my career as a journalist, and I quickly honed in on the sort of sociological implications of the technology era, and then further honed in on cybersecurity, privacy, and identity theft. And then along the way, and data mining, big data. So this convergence of things and how we behave and how our behavior changes the more we spend time online. So from a consumer perspective, a business perspective, and a government perspective. And then I was appointed to a White House committee called the National Infrastructure Advisory Council as a point of contact. And it's a very bipartisan group. It was appointed by Obama, kept by Trump, kept by Biden. It has a Homeland Security attaché for protecting critical infrastructure. So the grid, nuclear plants, and private companies, and how to protect individual citizens. And I'm on the advisory board for the Global Resilience Federation as well, for their K-12 program, actually, to prevent school shootings using cyber intelligence, and to also protect the privacy of financial and healthcare and personal information.
Wow. Rivka, although I know all these things about you, every time I hear them, it is so impressive.
Well,
And
it's fun.
I'm blessed to be your friend and so thankful that you're my friend and you can make me smart every day. So
Well, likewise, you're the one who makes me smart.
yeah, empowered women empower each other and the world.
Exactly. And by the way, before we even start, I want to say that women are much better at cyber intel than men because of our nature, because we are really good profilers and we tend to have higher EQs, and we're empaths so that we can see what other people are thinking. And this is very important preface for everything that we're going to talk about. So just know out of the gate that you're going to be good at this. It's just a matter of tuning in.
Ah, that was really that gave me a lot of confidence. Like that first your opening statement, it just made me feel so good about everything. Otherwise, I have been slightly nervous about, oh my God, really? Do I really want to know about everything so that I will stress about everything? But Yes, I think with that comment, I am ready for it.
Okay.
And
But I'm a
anyone,
black cat, basically. You know, the black cat originally was not bad luck. It's good luck, because if something's coming your way and you're warned about it, you have time to do something about it so that you thwart it. So when you see a black cat, it's actually good luck because it's getting you prepared. So think of me as a black cat. And in Japan, very interestingly, it's thought of as good luck. And all the security companies have black cats as logos.
ha,
So this is your black cat.
ha, and you would be a very stylish black cat.
I think so. I've always wanted a tail.
Yeah, black cat in a leather jacket.
Yeah, exactly. And then when I'm mad, what I love about cats is their tail just goes and they can hesitate. I just would like to do that when I'm mad. It's better than any discussion.
Yes, yes, yeah, yeah. I love that image of you as a black cat, and I love that you changing my perspective about superstitions. Like we can make superstitions instead of bad for ourselves, we can understand their real meaning and make them good for ourselves.
Right. Like the Egyptians, they had cats guarding
The
because
tools,
they were
yeah,
guards. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And it totally makes sense. And we can take this to cybersecurity, and many times we close our eyes from something because it's bad, and it's bad to know, to reduce the stress. Like what I
Right.
said earlier, that I didn't want to have this conversation because I didn't want to know more. I didn't want to know more. I didn't want to be nervous. I didn't want to be stressed. But
Right.
it's a black cat thing. If you know it is coming, if you recognize its existence, then you know how to protect yourself from it.
Right.
So with that, my first question for you is kind of related. Like, why should we even care about cybersecurity? Like,
Okay. So there are a lot of answers to this, and I will frame it in terms of finances since that's our series right now. Okay. Because there's a lot of discussions we can have about privacy preferences and that. So why we should care about cybersecurity is so that our money does not get stolen. Okay, because it's not just the money that gets stolen. If they steal banking data and financial data and personal data around any transaction, then it is really, I mean, it is incredibly stressful, and it's really a lot of work to undo damage. So it's easier to not have damage done at all. It's a classic case of prevention is easier than the cure.
yeah, give me one example of the damage that could be done. Like, this happened to X person, and then they had to go through this.
Okay, I'll give you a classic example, and this is, people won't like this. So especially in COVID, there's a lot of GoFundMe projects, okay? And people with the best intentions, they see these ads pop up, GoFundMe, and they click on the ad. These things have been hacked. So you go to GoFundMe, you go fund a project. I had a college student who did this a couple of weeks ago, right? There's somebody, who had food insecurity, and just their parents are out of money and they're in college, so they were funding their meals. Hit GoFundMe. It was malware had taken over the system. Okay, so the money that was supposed to go to this student didn't go. The money itself was stolen. And then this person's debit card information was stolen. And so all of a sudden, her bank account was drained. And the problem also with debit cards is you don't have the same consumer protection that you do with credit cards. You can't fight it as easily. You have to go prove it, and then they take it off. Whereas credit cards, they take it off right away and then prove it. So there's things that come across our lives every day where we're trying to help ourselves or help others, and it can go really wrong. And so now she had to cancel all her cards. And the other really bad part is if once you have an IP address and your credit card information, you can get keys to your kingdom, like a social security number. And I don't know why in this country those can't be reissued. But when somebody has a certain number of data points about you, it's impossible to undo. So then you're just mitigating circumstances.
Ah, that really sucks. That absolutely.
Oh, but wait, hold on. I promised myself I would not scare anyone without giving a prescriptive for each thing. Absolutely go ahead and do your GoFundMe. But when you have an organization or a person, don't do it from the link that is sent to you through social media. If it's an organization, go to their website, make the donation there. Okay. So the act is being proactive instead of replying. You know, text the person and say, do they have Venmo? Do they have PayPal? Can I do this over email?
Yeah.
There's always a way around. I promise. There's always a way around to do it securely.
Yeah. I have, I'll come to that, but I have heard, I'm saying it anyways, I can't resist. I have heard this about even wire transactions, that if you are going to wire something to someone for some reason, make sure to talk to them on phone and confirm all the details. And
yeah, absolutely,
you initiate the call, not someone else calling you and you confirming, but you call the people that you have.
Never give out personal information on the phone. You can say call back, and then you go online and you can check that that's a corporate line for whatever company, whether it's AT&T customer service or anything. Never accept those phone calls.
Yeah,
because they can be anybody, and you don't know. So always verify.
Is it better that in those cases you initiate the call so that you know who you're calling?
Yes, and check the phone number and make sure, because phone numbers for companies that are in any kind of customer service, when you Google them and just say, whose number is this? It will come up like, this is part of the main line of AT&T. It will always say so.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you can't locate it, do not call the number.
Yeah. And there is no reason to call the same number. There's no reason to call the same number back. You can always call that whatever organization is calling you, you can just call their number and call them back.
Yep.
My next question, I just want to get this full list of things, like who should we be scared about when it comes to cybersecurity?
It's a really good question. So there's inside threats and outside threats. And outside threats are getting really sophisticated. So you'll get texts now and emails that look like service providers of yours, right? Oh, it's time to update all your information for your Earthlink account. First of all, they would never do it that way. Okay. Again, you go to the main website, you call customer service, you find out if that's true. And do it and any text that looks suspicious, don't read it first and delete it. Like your package has been delayed, and it looks like FedEx, and you're like, well, I actually am expecting a package. Just delete it. They would never communicate with you that way. And don't open it first. The other thing are people in our own households, okay? And unwittingly, okay, in the NSA's 7 profiles of the most highly dangerous people, yes, there's the Snowdens who are moles that have been in your organization for years, but there's 1 in a million. The unwitting person who walks around doing things unwittingly all day is the most dangerous person. And if you have teenagers or kids in your house, okay, who go online and they download free software, free TV, apps from Canada, wherever, all right, they are dangerous. And there's very simple things you can do. And by the way, anyone who has any questions after this, they can always text me or email me, called hardening your system. And you just make sure your intrusion detection and your anti-malware and stuff is turned on. And the other thing you can do on your router is you can put in very specific devices and limit what they do. It's sort of the parental controls of 2021. And that their friends can't come in and use your Wi-Fi and compromise your system. So it just won't let them do certain things. And actually, there's ways you can do it where when they do it outside and they walk in the house, your system automatically strips it. Because this is what is, and they're tempted. I mean, I've lent my computer to teenagers in this house before and had it come back and, like my printer now will not let me print. My computer won't let me print because there's some malware on it. That I will spend forever, and I know what I'm doing, taking it off or getting a new printer.
So in summary, just tell me again, in summary, how can you lock it? Like how,
here's something that you can do that's really easy to do. okay, that everyone can do. Whether you have AT&T or Verizon, whoever your service provider is, okay, either at the App Store or on Google Play, depending on your phone, go and look for the app. It's $3.99 a month usually for your provider. So I go to AT&T and I want my AT&T Secure. And they call it different things. Like AT&T calls it my Safe Phone VPN. Download it. Turn it on. Make your kids turn it on. It prevents so much from happening.
Huh. That is going to be my first action after we finish this.
There you go. And you can do it on your laptops too. But just protect your phones because people do so much on their phones.
Yeah.
And then they back up their phones to their computers.
Yes.
Those new services, and all the service providers have them. You know what? It's like a firewall, anti-malware, anti-phishing, and intrusion detection. These used to be $2,000 Cisco systems. They're like $4 in the App Store now. Get them for every phone in your house.
Yes. It was really great advice. Like such a simple fix.
Yep. And by the way, it teaches them. So your kids or you, I still do that. Like something will pop up. Just, we're not approving of this. Or it won't even ask half the time. It just won't let you do it.
Yes, I like that. And it's not just for kids, because what happens is sometimes, you are in the middle of 10,000 things. I know as a sane person that I should not be clicking on any link that I don't recognize. But sometimes you are something that we should not be doing, multitasking 1,000 times. And you just, you see some text come up and you just click by mistake. So for those kinds of situations, I would rather protect myself than to have that confidence in me that I will never do that.
Right, exactly. I mean, we're all our worst enemies. So who we should be scared of when it comes to cybersecurity is ourselves when we want things to be super fast and super convenient and super cheap. And it's just a cultural shift. So for example, another thing that's very easy to fix is never use free email. When you sign up for Google, you do not use Gmail. You don't use Yahoo. You don't use AOL. If you are not paying for your email monthly, you are wide open. Never do any banking with it. And when you can still do your Google Docs and have your Google Drive or whatever, because you can sign up with your own domain, right? But you can't use these emails because they can't afford to protect you. And you're just not protected. And it's really easy to fish them out.
Yeah. So that is a really crucial advice. That's a very crucial advice because, people keep on changing jobs and obviously, universities, everything. So people don't really use paid emails on a regular basis. Everybody uses free emails.
I know.
Or especially for personal stuff, because you just don't want to, if you change the company, you don't want to change your email. So you just use your Gmail or Hotmail or whatever address for doing
Pay for email. Earthlink is fantastic. And the great thing is you don't really have to pay for it for the kids because all the schools have email and school domains are protected. Yeah. And they go to lengths to protect it. So, your kids want their privacy. Sometimes they don't want the school to see them surfing or buying things or whatever. But if you need to save money, just tell them to use your school email. Because then the school system will clean it.
Yeah. You're talking about kids, but I'm relating all these things to adults also because we are not that different. We think.
No, it's not that we're different. It's just that women don't only have to think about themselves, right? Okay, all of a sudden I'm paying for email. I'm not just paying for me. I'm paying for everybody in the house, right? Those things add up, okay? Yeah. They're $14.95 a month plus times whatever. I'm just saying that you don't have to have multipliers if you don't need to, right?
Yeah.
For the $3.99 per month for the phone to keep things out, definitely worth it and definitely spend it, right? For anybody in your midst. But emails, usually there is a school one for your kids, but definitely for yourself. And don't touch anything financial.
Yeah.
On a free email.
What is the best email, paid email, value for money, paid email to use for protecting yourself? Do you have any recommendations?
So I'm a creature of habit, and I've simply had my Earthlink email since I was 24, and it's great. You know, I mean, I get a lot of spam, I get a lot of junk, you know, but I turn on the VPN. I don't think they're that different. If you have a local one wherever you live, right? If you have a local one and it's a paid service, all it means is that it's able to afford to encrypt you a little better. It goes to a greater length to protect you. It's not fail safe. So just whatever's local to you that you're paying for. Just Gmail, Yahoo, and AOL it's the public toilet of email. Okay. Just think about how many times you're hanging out there in like a train, a bus station. It's just infested and there's no way to keep it clean, right?
All high density.
Sorry for the graphic, but it's really important. It's one of the most important things is not to use free email.
Yeah.
And Google likes to take the analytics. And also, if you care about privacy, it's a perfect way to keep people from having analytics on you.
Yeah, that really makes sense. Now, I have another important question. You already covered a lot of these parts, but I want to, because we have so many parts that we could be scared of or worried about. What would you say are the top 3 things that we should be worried about?
Okay. Number 1 is how we join things. Okay. People are going to hate this, but never, like you're signing up for a new Uber account, a Lyft account, whatever it is. Never use your Facebook profile to sign up for anything. I know it's 1 click. Don't do it. Only use your paid email account to sign up for anything. Okay. And if you have signed up for accounts with Facebook, then go and log out, change your password, and redo it. And I know it's terrible. And that means Instagram too, because it's owned by Facebook. It means Telegram. It means anything owned and integrated by Facebook this is not a conversation. Did Mark Zuckerberg do a good job? He has. It's just impossible, right? It's impossible. You put a public profile out there and you're putting a public profile out there, right? And so sign up for all of your accounts with paid email. Okay. The next thing you should be worried about is your phone in your house, the things we went over, putting protection on your phone. All right. And then the other thing to worry about is your IP address, is account takeover. Okay. So this is why it's important to call and make sure that you're doing commerce with a legitimate site. If you're shopping somewhere, there's no phone to call. Don't buy anything. Is to make sure your IP address is protected, because once it is taken over, it can be used for crimes. And then people think it's you. Okay. And this is a very, very, very common thing that happens. So I think, but by doing the phone protection and the paid email and not signing up for things with your Facebook profile, you literally take away about 75% of the average person's problems.
Yeah. I am just wondering, I don't think I have, but in case, how do I find out if I have ever signed with any Facebook profiles, for anything with my Facebook?
Really good question. So most people don't. Oh, here's 2 more things that you should never do. Never keep passwords in a keychain. Everyone with MacBook, just stop doing it. You know where you keep passwords? On a piece of paper somewhere. Do not keep them electronically on your phone or your computer. And I know it's a pain in the neck, but don't, because they can really easily be stolen. So just write them down, put them somewhere, and leave it. Okay, so how do you tell if you signed up for Facebook? All right, what happens usually is you will see places that you've signed up. It will come at you in Facebook, right? Ads from those places. Oh, I keep getting an ad for this. Oh yeah, my Etsy account. I keep getting my ad on Facebook. It's because you've signed up with Facebook. Or you've purchased there and they hit you. But really what you need to do is do an inventory of all the accounts you have in your kids' accounts and go check. And log out, okay, and then log back in. And if you have, in some cases, you'll have to cancel an account you have and start over if you have logged in with Facebook, because it's not removable. Now, because you're going to stop using your free email and use your paid email, this is a great opportunity to go create new accounts everywhere. Because everyone should change their passwords every once in a while and do things like that. And so this just does it for you.
Wow. It does seem like a lot of work, but not as much as I was thinking. So I'm just going to, I'm just going to see if I remember everything that you told us. And I'm going to summarize everything the tips that you gave us, really quick tips that you gave us. One is have a paid account. Then you said that find out what phone service provider you have and get their security app on your phone. That's going to protect you. Then you said don't sign up for anything through any social media. Sign up via your paid account and write all your passwords on paper. Don't keep your passwords digitally, however easy all those things seem.
And never save passwords. I used to do this all the time. It was a really hard habit to break. Do you want to save this for future reference? Do you want to save this credit card for future reference? Do you want to do it just so it's an account, one click pay? Say no.
That'll save a lot of money also.
Yeah.
Because you will have to go looking for your credit card every time.
Oh, and one more thing about credit cards. So this was a funny thing. I had a credit card, a Visa card through Merrill Lynch for like 20 years. And I always had it, right? And one of my habits is living within means, so I don't revolve credit. So it's just there. It's there for travel. It's there for convenience. It's there. And I never changed it. So it occurred to me to go do an audit of it where you can call up in customer service. Please go look and tell me how many people are using this credit card. I found that there were 4 aliases using my credit card for the past 4 years, like stealing like 3 pennies, 10 pennies, $1 at a time. And so I said, oh my goodness, shut down this number, issue me a new credit card. And they issued me a new credit card, and I got a check for $440 because that was what was stolen in bits and bytes over the year. So if you have a credit card that you've had the same number forever and you have a great relationship with the bank, just call them and say, just for fun, cancel the number and give me a new one.
Isn't that a normal practice though with the credit card companies? I have seen, at least, the companies that I have, they every now and then they do send you a new card.
They don't change the number. They don't change your account number. You see, the account expires and they do a little bit of an audit. And by the way, the credit card issuers are getting really smart. Like Bank of America is great. I get an alert if they even see odd behavior and they'll freeze things. They've gotten really sophisticated, but just because it has an expiration date, that's actually for their risk models to see if they want to lower your credit limit or raise it. It's not secure. Your number hasn't changed, even if they send you a new card.
Good thing to pay attention to.
Yeah, and it's just easy, and who knows? They might owe you $440.
Yeah, I asked you everything about security and financial security. Do you have anything to say about, we did discuss that not something that everyone cares about, but do you have anything to share about privacy?
Well, I am a big privacy person. Okay, so I just start out with that. Okay, so but I tend to care about privacy more in terms of security. So when I see people, this was a huge trend in New York City, that burglars would go onto Craigslist and everything, and they go onto Facebook, and everyone's like, "Yay! Here are our vacation pictures. We'll be gone for 2 weeks." And then they know no one's home, and then they go check it out, make sure there's no dog, no house sitter. You're telling people when you're not home. That stuff always freaked me out. And the other thing is apartment listings, on Craigslist and all the places where you have apartments that it's vacant, available immediately. That means no one's living here. That is a vulnerability. So the things I care about privacy are about vulnerability, right? I don't like people, and this is hard because, just don't give dates when you go on vacation. Always pretend you have a dog. You're happy to, I do that. Disinformation is your friend. And this is where women are really good at this. Okay. Because men give disinformation, but they can't remember what they say. Right. So, when men lie, they're just like, and then they're sitting there and they're trying to remember it. You're going to remember. Just say, hi, oh, we're so excited to go to Costa Rica, and our dogs, and we have the best house sitter. If anyone needs any reference whatsoever, always remembers the plants or animals. We're so happy when we get home. Just that bit of misinformation can protect you a lot.
Yeah. Or just, or wait till you come back to post pictures. You don't have to, you can peacefully enjoy your vacation and not post pictures and information every day and come back and just do it.
Well, you travel with your husband, and so you'll never get that done. Zach posts adorable pictures of you every 5 seconds. Okay. So wait. So the point is that don't change that behavior. That behavior is okay. Because if we try to change too many behaviors, right?
It won't work.
It's like trying to go on a diet and not cheating. If you don't have cheat day, what happens, right? You just go crazy and you binge it. So you don't put that much pressure on yourself. Actually, a little disinformation goes a long way.
That's a good idea. Really good idea. So
because people want to post their thing. They want their friends to see. Do you know what I mean?
It has become completeness of our enjoyment. If no one saw it, we didn't do it.
Right. Rene Descartes would have a field day, right?
Yeah.
Selfie, therefore I am.
Before I let you go, I have just one last question. And anyone, who is listening to us now or later, if you have any questions about your cybersecurity, privacy, what you should be scared of, what you should be doing about it, just throw in questions and comments, or you can ask them later. If you are listening to a recorded version on podcast or on YouTube, just send us your questions and we'll make sure that I will make sure that I will have Rivka answer those questions for you, because I don't think I'll be able to answer. Although I'm very smart, since in last half an hour I have learned a lot, and yet we should be talking to the experts. So Rivka will answer those questions. Keep those coming. And my last question is, we have a list of things to do now. What is the first thing that I should do as soon as I hang up?
Go protect your phone with a security app, because one of the great things about doing that is we all know how marketing works, and your service provider will then sell that information to others, and then you will start receiving offers for different security things, paid email and things like that. So it will just start off your receiving information about it. And plus our phone is our connection to everything. So that's the first thing I would do.
Yes. It feels like it's our window into the outside world right now.
And they're doing a really good job for very little money with these apps. They really are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do as soon as we finish. Is there anything else that I should have asked and I did not ask?
I think it's a conversation that's fluid. I think if things come up for people, like in specific cases, just ask it. So I am on Facebook as well, and I have a group of people that on an ongoing basis message me, like, this came up. Okay, my Instagram was hacked. What do I do? And then I have to give the horrible advice. You have to go through and log out of every social media and account you have, and then log back in with paid email. So once you have scenarios, something's happened, I clicked on this thing and I shouldn't have. How do I check? Just whatever it is, just ask. Because there's always a prescription, I promise.
Yeah. At least for Empowered Women Squad, Rivka is always available for replying to your messages and your questions. Thank you for being so active on that and supporting, Rivka.
Oh, thank you for having it. It's great. I learned so much from everyone. It's really a wonderful group.
Yes. And with that, I am going to say big thank you to Rivka and everyone else who listened so far and will be listening to this one. This was a great session. It made me really smart. Thank you.
Well, thank you for having me, and I hope it was helpful. And
yeah. Yeah, and I feel calm. I feel calm. I don't feel like you scared me about anything. I do feel that you made me aware of things. And then you also gave me solutions to all those things. And none of them were very complicated. And they have side effects that are going to protect me even further, because we were talking about financial challenge. Like, if I don't save my credit card information, it's going to make it that much difficult for me to buy stuff. And
Right.
I'll be only buying stuff that I need, not really stuff that I want.
Right. And you'd be surprised how fast the learning curve happens. Once you raise awareness in this area, it really, you'll find yourself one day stopping and thinking, hey, no, I shouldn't do that. You'll start to get really aware of what looks fake too.
Yeah, your sixth sense. and
Yeah.
and and I
Use it, trust your intuition. If it
yeah.
looks weird, it is weird.
And intuition doesn't come out of nowhere. It is part of your practice, and more we practice, more intuitive we get.
Yep.
Yeah. With that, thank you, Rivka, and
Thank you.
everyone else. And next session we haven't yet planned. I have to declare, next session we haven't yet planned, but it will be not next Wednesday. Wednesday after will be mostly a circle. And let's see what topic we come up with. And if you have anything that you want to talk about, let us know. Thank you.
Thank you.